Hi, my name is Dr. Henry Ho.
Name is Iris Tan.
My name is Chiu Ting Ming.
My name is Justin Poon.
I'm a fellow from the Singapore Stanford Bar Design Program.
A lot of people take on this fellowship for different reasons, but be sure to find out what's that reason for yourself and to make sure that it really makes it all worthwhile for you.
And if you get in, be prepared for a very intense but exciting journey ahead, one that you definitely will not regret.
To any fellowship applicants that feel that, hey, I might not be good enough, or I might not have the relevant experience, I would say that you wouldn't know until you apply.
Watching this video, you should just apply for it. That's my first advice to you. But if you're actually having a thought, seriously, if you're actually thinking about starting a MedTech journey, I think this is a great place to start. When I first received the paper saying that I was accepted for this program, then I realized that actually there's also the book. Then I was thinking, I can read about it. But when I went over there and I see the environment itself, I was like, God, this is not going to be duplicated in a book. And you're going to be one of the seed that's going to be bringing back to Singapore and growing it in Singapore. And I think that's the kind of vision I have, or an endowment I have to you if you're actually thinking about whether I should even take up the application to the Singapore Stanford Bar Design Fellowship.
One of the challenges that I faced in Stanford was actually in dealing with my Stanford Bar Design group. Putting a team, multicultural team with different backgrounds together meant there was a lot of understanding that we had to do in order to effectively work together as a team. And to add on to that, the pressures were high because it was a very intensive course and all of us wanted to excel.
In terms of work, there were many things that we needed to do. We just had to strike a balance between work and play. And more often than not, we had to weigh between having fun or to actually burn the midnights or to get work done.
So the challenges were along the time were actually given us very tight timeline to kind of finish a project, and we handle a few ongoing projects at the same time. So that was a challenge that I see at the time that was a bit difficult to manage. But looking back, that was actually part of the aim to train us to be a medical technology entrepreneur or innovators. Because in the real life practices or real life situation, the timeline, it will be tight and you'll be very unpredictable. You don't know when the next funding will come, whether there'll be a technical kind of issues that you have to face and manage. Expect unforeseen circumstances. And none of the plan will be executed as planned. Be ready for your plan B and C and D.
I would say the most challenging moment that I faced in Stanford was the fact that I'm going back to school and I had to put in time and effort to read up and learn about physiology, attending classes again. That took a bit of getting used to.
The key thing that we have faced differently is the fact that I think the Singapore culture and the Singapore environment is not ready to have a creativity kind of interaction. One of the most interesting comments when we were first introduced to the doctors from the Singapore National Eye Centre was that we're here to solve the IT problems that we have. That was rather disappointing because you're here not to solve IT problems, but that's a kind of misconception in 2011.
But the most challenging part has to be the clinical immersion, because with our prior experience in Stanford, we realized that having a good project and hence a good 6 months ahead was very much dependent on discovering a good clinical need right from the very start.
Because we are working together as a multidisciplinary team, so there were times we were unsure whether should we move ahead to building a prototype and testing out our ideas, or rather than to go back to our research papers and make sure that we know all that we need to know. And it was this struggle that I would say was the greatest challenge that the team faced while we were in Singapore.
I think the most memorable experience that I had has to come from the psychology classes that I have. I have to mention the name Julian Gorodsky. He basically gave us classes in making understanding the team psychology and deconflict or conflict the team. He always gave us the most simplest kind of activity to do to kind of trigger out what's the deepest emotion and thought process. So I feel that this is where I learned the most about how I respond to a lot of challenges in life, because Biodesign program just teaches you the method, but it doesn't tell you about all the different scenarios in life that can come to you in terms of medtech development and journey.
One of my most memorable experience would be a learning experience as well. We had this concept in mind that we thought was going to work perfect. I mean, we were so excited about it. Then we went on to build a prototype. And when it was built and we actually tried to get it to work, we realized that it did not work the way we wanted, or it did not work the way we thought it would. And that was my biggest takeaway, because you can have the perfect concept in your mind, but until you build it and actually test it out, you will not know for sure. And in terms of academic, winning of the Lunar Design Award and being presented with a plaque during our graduation is definitely one of the highlights.
There is so much to learn beyond the classroom. So spending time with Tom Fogarty in his vineyard was an experience that I'll always remember. And beyond that, it is also spending time with my own batchmates, going for short hiking trips to help us bond as well as to de-stress. And simple activities like we also had sessions with our fellows from the US as well as from India, where we invited them over to our house and we played games like board games like Cranium. So that really helped us to bond. It will remain one of the most memorable experiences for me.
We get to live and work among the very brightest, but yet I could enjoy myself with my team by taking long drives and walks. It's an experience that I would highly recommend others to give it a go in the future.